All right, y'all, so welcome back to the shop. First thing we're gonna do this morning, we got this Jeep in here that we've been working on. It has been painted and based and cleared, all that good stuff. You saw the bed liner, gotta be cleaned up, a little dusty now. I've still gotta wet sand this thing, buff it out, got a little bit of trash in it. Gotta go into here, get all that stuff cleaned up, painted. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting on that stuff to dry, harden up, I've got these two Kawasaki, I think the guy familiar with ZX14 tanks, and we're gonna clean these up and get them painted back black. Somebody has already done this one before with some, I don't know what they used, but it looks like gasket on it or something, and kind of made a mess out of it. But either way, first thing we're gonna do is clean them up with scuff stuff. We'll get them back in here and start getting some of this old paint off. Get these decals off, these sticky pieces, and fix this mess right here and get them ready to paint. Well, it looks like when I moved the table, I moved it right in front of the camera. Sorry about that, guys, so I'll just speed right through this. All right, guys, I got all the adhesive off. Got these pads off up here at the top. And this one didn't have Kawasaki on the side, however, that one did. And I didn't have scuff stuff with me today. I'm out of scuff stuff. So what I did, I just took grease and wax remover, wiped everything down really good. Now I'm gonna start sanding it and knocking off some of this layer here. Now with this tank here, I'm gonna do 80 grit. The tank over there, I'm probably just gonna do 180 on the bad places and 320 everywhere else, and then prime from there. But I'm gonna start this one with 180 and get some of this mess right here all knocked out of the way. So let's get started with that. Alright guys, now we're switching to 180. We're going to go back over all the 80 grit with the 180. Kind of feather everything down, smooth it out, see what it looks like from there. I really wanted to get most of this black off, but some of it's, some of it's holding pretty good. Places where it's not, I'll feather edge those on down and see what we got when we get done with the 180. So back to this tank, did go ahead and decide to take all the paint off the black anyways. This, a little ding or something right there maybe. this black was put on, I don't know if it was rattle can or what, but it was kind of flaking off. Some places wanted the feather edge pretty good, some places didn't. So I decided to go ahead and take it off, and it was taking a while with this Mac DA that you saw me using earlier. That's been the only sander I've used for a long time. I initially got it to wet sand with when I would polish a car or something like that. Then I started using it for body work and stuff. And if you know anything about a dual action polisher, it's not going to cut like a rotary will. However, I went to an auction about 3 weeks ago, I guess, and a gentleman had passed away and had a auction off his body shop, and I picked up all of these here sanders. All of these you see here, 4 of them are National Detroit. This one here, however you want to say that, Suox, I'm not sure, air sander. And this one here, not sure what the brand is of that one. But anyway, I picked them all up for $27, and I just used this one, stripping this paint, and it done all that in about 8 minutes. So that was $27 well spent. Also, I'll go ahead and show you this here. I also bought these cabinets here at the auction. I got both of these cabinets for $40 or $45, can't remember. And they came with all this sandpaper in them. Had a boatload of sandpaper. And also bought some used paint. You know, what good is used paint? Well, I painted golf carts with them, I painted mailboxes with them. Just anything, you know, that people want painted. And some of it works really good. Some of the metallic flake in it, you know, sometimes doesn't do well. But a lot of it does, so it's a 50-50 shot, but, you know, it does what it does. So, with that being said, share these sanders I got and how well of a job they done. All right, tank number 2 has some scuff marks here, like it might have been laid down. And right here, there's a little bit of a dent, a little ding right there. Gotta go up and clean all this mess up. And I think for the most part, this will be a fairly easy tank to prep. For something like this, once I get these areas sanded down, most of this here will just be able to be scuffed up with I don't know, Scotch-Brite, orange, red Scotch-Brite, and then ready to paint. Which I'll dash a little primer over it anyway when I prime these, and then maybe just wet sand the whole thing. It just all depends on how it's going when I start working, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna start with a piece of 180. See how well that does. If not, we'll jump up to 80 grit and clean it up with a 180. What I'm going to do here, all these little spots, I'll just put a little glaze over them and block them down. And I think once we do that, we can wet sand everything. Be ready for this one, be ready for paint. This stuff here, Trendstar 2-in-1, really good stuff. I love it on doing small stuff like this. And the reason I spray primer here is because I had those spots that were down to bare metal. Some people may disagree with me here, but when you mix when you mix filler together, it gets hot. It's a reaction and it gets hot. And when heat gets on anything metal, you get condensation. get wet underneath it. So it's a good chance that when that hot filler hits that metal, that raw metal, it could get moisture underneath it and eventually start to rust underneath there. So I always put a little primer down before I put my filler down. So once this dries, I'll go back and rough it up. With you know, a little bit of 80 grit in those bad places, and then put the filler in. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I see a loose edge right there that could possibly lift. So I'm gonna sand that little edge off. I'm gonna get that feather edge a little bit. Get that feather edged. Now we'll put a little more primer on there. If I can find where I set it down at. There it is. All right, now while that dries, we'll come over here in this mess I got. Mix this up a little filler. That stuff has dried up pretty good. Got some 80 grit here. I'm just gonna block it back down, smooth it out. I'm not rubbing it hard, just kind of lightly rubbing over it. So somewhere in between this time, I must have primed these things and didn't take a video of it. But anyway, things are primed, wet sanded, and ready for base. So let's lay down some black.